Right. So today's question is, what is arrested development and how does it affect my behavior as I grow older? The person who asked me this question doesn't tell me how old they are. So I'm going to assume that they're in their teens or early 20s because that's typically when arrested development would be noticed. Now, arrested development isn't typically labeled as a formal diagnosis. It's not actually a diagnosis in the way that other certain mental health conditions are, but rather it's a concept or a framework which is used to describe certain aspects of emotional or psychological growth that have not progressed to the point that we would expect them to. So imagine as we grow up, our bodies aren't the only things that grow, are they? Our minds and emotions are supposed to mature with us. But sometimes, well, life throws you a curveball, doesn't it? Like trauma or neglect. And emotionally, we get stuck. Now, we're physically adults, but part of us is still hanging back in our teenage years, sometimes even younger, trying to catch up. So, how does this play out in life as you get older? Well, think about a time where you felt completely overwhelmed and maybe you reacted in a way that was a bit young for your age. That could be a sign of arrested development. It means that handling big emotions or stressful situations might feel quite overwhelming because emotionally you're responding from a much younger place. So it's like trying to solve an adult sized problem with a toolbox that you got in secondary school. And then in relationships, this can be tough as well because it might lead to misunderstandings or conflicts because emotionally mature communication really feels like a foreign language. And then you've got work life, at work it's the same kind of thing. If feedback feels like a personal attack or stress makes you want to hide rather than tackle the issue, that's where arrested development rears its head because decision making can also feel like a minefield. If making choices feels daunting or you find yourself really not thinking through consequences, it tends to be that younger self at the steering wheel driving everything. And then, of course, there's impulse control. If you've ever found yourself doing something on a complete whim and later wondered, what the hell did I do that for? That's another classic sign. But it's not, there is good news. It's not all bad news because getting stuck isn't the end of the road. With some help like therapy or counseling and a little bit of self awareness, you can start to unpack those old suitcases, for want of a better word, and update your emotional toolkit because it's about giving that younger part of you a bit of a nudge and saying, it's okay, fine, we've got this. And it's about learning new ways to handle life ups and downs, isn't it? I mean, it's definitely a journey. There's no doubt about that. But it's all about moving forward one step at a time. So the fact that you're asking the question means that you're already questioning it and you've already got that level of self-awareness, which is going to allow you to move forward. But anyway, I hope that answers your question. That's what arrested development is.